Roger, operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.
Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of The Mediator with me, your host, Brian West, here to give you the top 8 headlines and developing news stories that have made it this week. As usual, to give the top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that have made it first, followed by a movie clip, a skit, a trailer, or something that's going on in the community, or maybe some pictures. And then I'll give you the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that have made it, folks. Let's waste no time. Oh, yeah. Let's get to it. Story number 1. State rep to run for Secretary of State. David Skolnick has a report published August 22nd informing the public about how State Rep. Allison Rosso, who is the former Ohio House Democratic leader, she plans to run for Secretary of State next year. State Treasurer Robert Sprague is running on the Republican ticket. Now, Republicans have held the seat since 1991. That's story number 1. Story number 2. Girard Police Chief steps down. Bob Coupland has a report published August 23rd. I guess it appears that a 41-year career for Girard's police chief, John Norman, I guess he's stepping down. Norman explained how the passion and interest in law enforcement is fading away. And the article is long and it takes the reader on an elaborate explanation of what shaped Norman's 41-year career. So story number 2 made it this week. Story number 3. Bezetta Township's new plans. Corey McRae has a report out of WFMJ explaining how Bezetta Township is aiming to roll out a 10-year plan in 2026. According to the report, the plan is a snapshot of current conditions in the community, such as evaluating land use, zoning appropriations for both residential and commercial use, as well as infrastructure such as water and sewer lines. This is word for word in the report. Now, the report goes on to highlight Amazon's plans to build a new distribution center in the area also. That's what story number 3. Story number 4. Election update headed into November. David Skolnick has a report published August 26th in the Vindicator informing the Youngstown community about what is taking place heading into another election season. The report explains how there are not enough candidates in a number of ballot categories, including the seat for Youngstown mayor. Now, the report goes on to explain what candidates filed for the write-in option. The report goes on further to explain the entire election situation headed into November, to see that some people even get disqualified. Now, this report is a must-read for anyone wanting to be informed or know about the upcoming local elections. Story number 4 made it this week. Story number 5. New advanced manufacturing lab at Chaffin. Laya Brown has a report out of WFMJ explaining how Chaffin Career and Technical Center is set to unveil a lab to help get students hands-on training in robotics and automation for high-demand jobs with the goal to meet the workforce needs. Now, the report goes on to explain how the lab can serve up to 80 juniors and seniors each year. Now, the investment made into the lab was close. I guess it's close to about $1 billion in equipment, worth of equipment, folks. So let's get the story to the topic. That's why story number 5. Story number 6. Sales tax renewal update. Dan Pompley has a report published August 27th out of Boardman explaining how township trustees are in the support of the sales tax renewal for roads. Now, the additional tax that was approved in 2021, according to the report, generates about $9 billion per year. The article succeeds at crunching the numbers and really informs the reader on why Boardman trustees are in favor of the renewal. So it's number 6 also into the top 2 this week. Big headline. Story number 7 in the top 2 local headlines and developing news stories that I made this week for you to keep you informed, folks. If you don't get up this early and you do want to check out top 8 or try to catch up on your news fix and see what's going on, and I do upload the website to this. I do upload the show to the website on Mondays, probably usually after 10 a.m. on Eastern Standard Time. So you can check out the show on Mondays. It's these top 2 stories. Story number 7. Grants to help moms and kids. The Mediator has a report published August 26 explaining how Meridian Healthcare has been given a $287,000 grant to help mothers and kids living with substance use disorders. A family recovery center in Columbia County received $133,262. CHC Addiction Services of Stark County received $569,974. Lake Area Recovery Centers in Ashtabula County received $263,713, and Town Hall in Portage County received $214,000 and $214,287. The fact that money is available for struggling families to fight bad habits, we got the story in because mothers have been really battling with addiction. Now, 76,000 Ohio women, including 7,600 expecting mothers, received treatment for alcohol or drug use. They received it in 2023. If you did not know, that's an estimated 13,728 women who needed treatment and they did not receive it. So that's word for word, almost word for word in the report. That's what got the story in. Story number 7, the big head. Story number 8, and the top local headline and developing news story that I made this week, folks. If you do want to show some support, and you do like me for coming in, or you may not like me, but you may respect the fact that I get up every week to do this show, which I'm using my time to count stories, going through stories to try to find the top 8 to fit into this program. You can support this cause and this program by either stopping at the store at 5648 Morgan Street in Boardman, Ohio, or go to the website on the screen and buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or just sponsor a program. That's if you do feel bad for a little jolly young fella like me, or you may even like a little jolly young smile, please support the show. Story number 8, 43 million sewer work, $1 million in sewer work has been approved. David Skolnick has a report published August 26th after City Council approved $43 million in sewer work. The money will keep wastewater from flowing into 2 Mill Creek Park lakes. Now, this story has been trending for a few weeks due to delays and did not come without some heated discussions, according to the report. Now, the project is set to start at the beginning of the year and will be finished no later than May 29th of 2028. So it's made to the top this week because this program has been in and out of the headlines for quite a bit. It was just a matter of time before it made it to the top. Well, folks, are our top 8 local headlines developing news stories that I made this week. I'll bring back the top 8 into the national headlines developing news stories. So once you go to the Mediator, be Brown West, I'll right back.
Tune in and don't forget to subscribe to Method 8 Inc. YouTube channel. You can also watch free public entertainment. And don't forget to show some support by visiting www.method8inc.com by buying something, clicking something, watching something, or just reading something. You can also sponsor a program as well. That's www.method8inc.com. Buy stuff, watch stuff, or read stuff.
What does Method8inc.com Media Center have that I need?
Small prints, event consulting, photography, business consulting, technical consulting, entertainment consulting, fundraising advice, event videography, movies, news, publishing, media, books, entertainment, acting, broadcasting, public relations, access to the visual and performing arts, ink and black ink refills, audio recording, graphic design, theater, minor computer and cell phone repair, and they're located at 5648 Market Street in Boardman, Ohio from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. every Monday through Friday. The list goes on and on.
Method8inc.com. Buy stuff, watch stuff, or read stuff.
Oh yeah! And yes, we are chipmunks.
back. Welcome back. Now it's time to get to the top 8 international headlines developing news stories that amaze me. Folks, it is Labor Day weekend, and Labor Day is a big holiday. It talks about work and what people do at work. And since my mom, she's going off to the next life. She passed away. I will tell her story. My mother worked for 24 long years. And since it's Labor Day, I'll shout this out, especially since it was women's equality or something like Women's Rights Day this month, too. My mother worked for 25 long years. And she spent her entire life working. And I think what the crazy part about it is I knew this. So I was always talking to her about retirement and saying, well, not too many people make it to retirement. Most people, when they get to retirement, one of their hands falling off, their leg falling off, their arm is hanging out their neck. And I think, well, Mom, you should be lucky. So I did all this paperwork, had her on the phone with Social Security, making sure she had some money when she was in the hospital, when she got treated for cancer. I'm rooting her on, Mom, you gonna make it through this chemo now. You gonna get to do it. And we gonna get to the mountaintop. We gonna get you to your golden years. I'm checking on her, and all I wanted to do was make sure she got to retirement so she could feel what it's like to finally do nothing. Sit around, watch TV, pick your nose, paint a few pictures, plant a few flowers, and I went through everything. Did her taxes, did all of her job, made sure she had insurance, she had a Medicaid, and it was crazy. Me and my sisters going back and forth. We calling each other, trying to figure out, Mommy, all right, I don't want to get to the mountain. We're going to take a vacation, do another. But you got to get her health right. You got to help her. Next thing you know, in the midst of all this, she's finally get approved, and the woman just dies. I tell you, life is weird. Life is weird. And sometimes things don't make no sense. And that's the story as we head into Labor Day, is that we all are working ourselves to the bone. Working. Some of us don't watch what we eat, don't watch how our health is. We are just working to our 9 to 5, trying to get that blessing, that paycheck. And folks, some of us don't make it to reap the benefits of Social Security, to get our blessing. Oh, get our blessing to be retired with Social Security and benefits. When we reach to the mountaintop, some of us do not make it. And my mother did not make it. Lord rest in peace, Lisa West. Love you. Family loves you. My mother was a loved woman. Everybody loved her. She was the sweetest person I know. A great communicator. Led me through the storm so many times. And it will be hard every day going on without her, but like I said, we all have to beat the maker someday. So let's waste no time, folks. Let's get these top stories. Let's get to it. Story number 1, the apartment issue. Forbes has a report by Eric Sherman, published August 25th, explaining how apartment renters are feeling the strain in a very uncertain market. The report is all about rising costs. The report emphasizes late payments, which the article goes on to say are growing. Late payments are growing. Now, it's important to note that the ripple effect from the COVID, also the shutdowns, what happened in the renters market, that happened some time ago until now, present day. This is what got the story to the top 8. That's why story number 1 made it. Story number 2, the AI issue. Wired has a report published by Will Knight on August 25th, explaining how AI, artificial intelligence, is eliminating jobs for younger workers, according to research from Stanford. The report is brief, but continues to sound the alarm on how artificial intelligence is creating a smaller human workforce. Let's get into the story to the top 8. That's why story number 2 made it. Story number 3, consumer confidence in top headlines. ABC News has a report explaining how consumer confidence has gotten worse in August. The report cites a weak jobs report and a set of new tariffs that could be the main reason. Now, the report explains how lower than expected inflation has eased some concerns. The number is not actually that bad, because I guess it only dropped about 1.3 points to 97.4 in August. That's what the report says. Now, the report then goes on to explain how Trump's move to fire Fed Reserve Governor Lisa Cook is playing a factor in the economic slowdown. Story number 3 made it. Story number 4. Marjorie Taylor Greene addresses Gaza famine. It's an interesting story. Now, The Guardian has a report published August 23rd. Now, the report explains how Marjorie Taylor Greene is joining Bernie Sanders in urging the U.S. to end Gaza famine. Now, this is a hard stance that sets her aside from her peers. Now, the Georgia Republican has gone on the record describing the crisis as a genocide. Now, what impact this will have in the aftermath is what got the story in. That's my story number 4 made this week. Well, folks, are our top 4 international headlines developing news stories that made this week. I'll be right back with top 4. So don't you go under in the media and be Brian West. Stop right there.
What does Method8Inc.com Media Center have that I need?
Small prints, event consulting, photography, business consulting, technical consulting, entertainment consulting, fundraising advice, event videography, movies, news, publishing, media, books, entertainment, acting, broadcasting, public relations, access to the visual and performing arts, ink and black ink refills, audio recording, graphic design, theater, minor computer and cell phone repair, and they're located at 5648 Market Street in Boardman, Ohio from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. every Monday through Friday. The list goes on and on.
Method8Inc.com. Buy stuff, watch stuff, or read stuff.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Now it's time to get to the top 4 international headlines developing news stories that have been this week. Folks, this week we're talking about Labor Day and work. And you ever work so hard people think you got a disorder? Just sitting over there just working. Are you all right, man? Just working. I like to work. You know, work is an interesting way of life. You know, you have to generate work to get things done. It's an interesting equation. You know, right now I'm reading the physics books and it's talking about all these formulas and these theories of, you know, people like Isaac Newton, how they came with all these theories for physical activity and physical work and kinetic energy. And they start realizing that you gotta, when you tap it, it stimulates you and you work. And they say that some Americans, you know, are not working, are not using their physical body to sit around and smoke weed and do drugs all day, drink beer. Did you know that in China, communism, that they have a dummy that they have to beat on because they be working so hard, they need to let their frustration out. So the boss, the supervisor comes over and say, I want you to do that right there. Come on now. The Chinese person would go back and beat on the dummy because they wanted they had to let out their frustration. I don't like them. I can relate to stuff like that because a supervisor will sit on the workroom floor. You'll be working. Now, I was on the overtime list my entire career, so my supervisor was not used to me not working or not being at the job. So when I wasn't at the job, he'd come over just to pick with me. Brian, you need to put the envelopes in the mail right there. And I'd be like, well, why don't you do it? He'd like, don't you talk to me that way? And I'm like, well, I need my job. I need my money. Well, you know what? Good. He'll write you up. Like, oh, I got a stimulation. I want to work. I want to prove him wrong. Work is interesting. Anytime I feel deprived or I feel defeated or conflicted inside, what I do is I watch videos. I watch videos of people working. Like Mike Tyson working out when he was young. I'm going to get in the ring. I'm going to fight. Muhammad Ali. I'm going to get in the ring. I'm going to fight. I must be the greatest. Or I'll watch David Goggins. Now, David Goggins is a different type of guy. Now, he'll have videos of him working, jogging, and he'll be talking stuff in his videos. You go there. You gotta get, stay on. And then he'll have people who want to challenge him with Navy SEAL. And that's what I like. David Goggins is the most recent workaholic that I think people need to get accustomed to. Because there's so many people who are slacking off. But I'm telling you right now, if you look up, go on YouTube and you find the Navy SEAL, David Goggins, he is motivated. And I feel good because I used to be in the Navy and all veterans can relate to the fact of a drill sergeant or somebody like David Goggins getting in your face and telling you to work. You know, every time you watch his videos, he running 200 miles. I like it. I like it. You need to do it. You need to do it. Stay hard. Stay hard. Cussing at people and fussing. Oh, God bless America. You know what I like about America before we get to these top four is America is a country where if you are a slacker, you are treated like trash. You are treated like a slacker. But if you are working, everybody loves you. They want to come to the party, hang out. Oh, I love the way you did it. I love the media is showing up. Oh, he's working. Let's go chase him. They are following you around, trying to ask questions. When you gonna work again? You gonna come back to work? What you gonna do? You gonna work again? That's what I like. Work should be rewarded. And folks, this week, I'd like to say, if you make it to retirement, stay healthy. Don't be like my loving mom. She will be like her, but if you make it to retirement, it'd be good to live a little bit long because the family needs you. I would miss my mom this Labor Day week. Ooh, let's waste no time. Let's get to it. Story number 5. The hurricane stories 10 to 20 years later, especially Hurricane Katrina. NPR has a report out of New Orleans focusing on their school system 20 years later. The report begins by informing the reader how the city's schools look nothing like they did 20 years ago. Now, the story really echoes complaints made by other districts in different states, like mismanagement, purchasing unnecessary items. But the story goes on, though. It gets positive. Now, the report also highlights the fact that the district now has fewer students. But going further, the article explains how the move to charters has actually made things better, and the data proves it. Now, the report says that test scores, high school graduation rates, college going, and all things in between have improved in I guess Louisiana, New Orleans. Now this is compared to a 56% graduation rate before the storm hit in 2005. Now the structure is what got the story in, a structure that could gain the attention of other failing systems. The formula when the reset button was the reset button was hit was the switch. The formula is they switched to charter schools that are publicly funded and privately run nonprofit organizations that have to answer to the state and local school boards. So that's the new formula that they used to make to improve their district. Now, the article is filled with information on how a collapsed school system took action to improve and is definitely worth the read, folks. The graduation rate now sits at 80%, went from 56% to 80%, folks. That's getting the story into the top 8. That's why I said number 5. Story number 6. Voting in the South is back on the radar. Capital B has a report published by Brandon Tinsley on August 26th explaining how it's becoming harder for Black Americans in southern states to vote. Now, the report explains what is taking place in the continued claims of violation of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. This has been in circulation in a few predominantly African-American communities. Now, the article points the finger at the new redistricting fight, thus getting the story to the top 8. I'm sure we'll hear more about this as the election season rolls around. Story number 6 also made to the top 2 this week. Big. Story number 7 in the top 2 international headlines and developing news stories that I made this week for you to keep you informed, folks. If you don't get up this early, you can check out the show. I do upload to the website on Mondays after 10 o'clock. Check out the show on the website on Mondays. Story number 7. Presidential power is now a hot topic. CNN has a report published August 26th by John Fritz. Now, the report highlights how the 6-3 conservative court has allowed Trump to rip through leadership at independent agencies, federal agencies at that. Now, the entire purpose of the report emphasizes how Trump's move to fire Lisa Cook for what he says is because she committed mortgage fraud and sparked another debate about presidential power. Folks, the story is still developing. So story number 7 also made it to the top this week. Big. Story number 8 at the top. International headline and developing news story that made it this week for you. To keep you informed. Folks, if you do want to show some support, all you have to do is visit the website on the screen and buy something, feel something, watch something, read something, or to sponsor the program. Or you can stop at the store at 5640 Market Street in Boardman, Ohio. see my smiley face, shake my hand. Sometimes I give hugs. I remember Ann and Ken comes in, always hug Ann. She's always feeling love. And I go, there, come here, let me hug you, Ann. Woo. Thank you for the support. I hug my customers sometimes. I'm grateful. I don't get too many blessings, but I'm grateful. Let's get to this top story. Story number 8. Generation Z remains the top headlines. Fortune has a report explaining how billions of Generation Zers are jobless and unemployed, predominantly as males. Now, the report is by Emma Burley. And it was published August 25th. Now, the report begins by stating how the group of Generation Zs, they lack employment, education, and training. They're saying this is their weakness. This is what's going on. Now, the number sits at 9.1% of men aged 20 to 24 compared to 7.2% of women. Now, one fact could be a fierce labor market after graduation, which could explain their struggle. Now, artificial intelligence is also mentioned in the report, and the fact that another young mentally ill person committed another mass shooting, this time in Minneapolis at a Catholic church, is what got the story in, because the younger generation seems to be fading into the abyss, and a lot of people are wondering, how do we save them? But by the blood of Yeshua, Jesus can save us, can heal, cast out all demons, and purify and petrify our souls. Well, folks, those are top 8 local and international headlines developing news stories that made this week. I hope you got something out of today's program. I always get something out of the research. As usual, I thank all the news outlets, journalists, people on the front lines. You deserve all the credit. I'm just the leader, the man in the middle, navigating your news stories just to keep people informed. Folks, if you do want to show some support, it does not take much. This is the website on the screen. Buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or just sponsor a program. Or you stop at store at 5640 Mark Street in Boardman, Ohio, and see my smiling face. Happy Labor Day. Have a good week, everybody. Thank you for tuning to the Mediator this week with me, Brian West. Peace.
Have no fear, fellow citizens.